In another short, I shared briefly two of the number of traditions involved with the Afikomen. In this one, I'd like to share with you two other very familiar and popular parts of the Pesach Seder: the cup of Elijah and the opening of the door. In our Sidarim, these two things are connected together, so that the widespread tradition, in quotes, is that we open the door for Elijah. The historic truth is somewhat different and very, very interesting. The two originally had nothing to do with each other. Another widespread notion in terms of opening the door is that we open the door to let strangers who have no place to go for Seder come in and share our meals. That's patently historically not true, because when do we open the door? After we're done the meal. If the purpose of opening the door was to let strangers in, it would have to be earlier in the evening than it actually occurs. The key to the original reason for opening the door is in the passage that's recited as the door is open, which is not the beautiful connections with Elijah or singing Eliyahu Hanavi as are printed now in many Haggadot. The traditional passage is Shvo Chamatcha, pour out your wrath upon those who not believe in you. And that is a key for the original meaning of the opening of the door. It was done in the background and wake of terrible blood libels that were raised against our ancestors, of needing blood for my wine and matzah, and actually killing non-Jewish children in particular to use the wine and blood. So the opening of the door was done so that neighbors passing by, non-Jewish neighbors, could look in and see that nothing was done other than having a regular meal around the table. The ironic part is the content of what was said while the door was open, in a language that neighbors didn't understand, which was, in effect, may God revenge and seek vengeance for all the terrible things you and your ancestors have done to us and our ancestors. Again, recited in a language that non-Jewish neighbors didn't understand. A bit of irony and kind of fitting in to the Passover theme. If we transition to Elijah, again, who had nothing to do originally with opening of the door, we have a whole interesting tradition about the cup of Elijah. I think everyone knows that there's a cup of Elijah placed on the table that no one drinks from, and Elijah traditionally visits every home during the Seder. The origin of that, again, even though it's placed now and we sing Eliyahu Hanavi near the opening of the door, has nothing originally to do with that, but rather to do with Elijah's role as the forerunner of the Mashiach, of the Messiah. Elijah is the only person in the entire scripture who does not die. He's taken up to heaven in a fiery chariot. And because of that, many legends grew up around Elijah. In particular, that he's sitting next to God, waiting to be sent back as the precursor to the Messiah. In keeping with that tradition, Elijah is also in rabbinic literature seen as the individual who's going to solve all rabbinic disputes. And there's an expression that we find in the Talmud, Teku, which is an abbreviation for when Elijah the Tishbe returns, he will solve this dilemma between the rabbis, which has no current solution. There's a debate as to how many cups of wine everybody should drink at the Seder, whether everybody's obligated to drink 4 or 5. And the rabbi who espouses 4 presents his arguments. The rabbi who espouses 5 presents his arguments. The problem is not resolved, and the resolution was to place cup number 5 on the table, but have no one drink from it. So we drink from 4, and the cup that's there, Elijah's cup, we'll know whether everybody is to drink from when Elijah comes and tells us whether we're supposed to drink 4 or 5. Chag kasher v'sameach.